Into this ancient landscape came a man who would change the course of history, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. His teachings, which became the foundation of Islam, addressed all aspects of life, from faith and morality to society and governance. His companions would listen to his words, memorizing them and writing them down. These sayings, known as hadith, became a source of guidance for Muslims for all generations to come. They offered wisdom on how to live a good life, how to treat others, and how to understand the world and our place in it. Many of these sayings spoke of the past, present, and what was yet to come. One of these conversations is particularly striking. It is recorded that one day, the angel Gabriel came to the prophet in the form of a man and asked him a series of questions to teach the faith to those present. He asked about Islam, about faith, and about excellence. Then he asked, "Tell me about the hour," referring to the day of judgment. The prophet replied that the one being asked knew no more than the one asking. Gabriel then said, "Then tell me about its signs." It was here that the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave a few specific predictions, signs that the end of time was approaching. Among these signs, he mentioned something that must have sounded strange to his audience. He said they would see a time when the barefoot, naked, destitute shepherds compete in constructing lofty buildings. Think about that for a moment. He was speaking to people who lived in tents, whose lives were defined by humility and a connection to the ground beneath their feet. He was describing their descendants, the very same kind of people, engaging in a race to build taller and taller structures, a competition of vertical ambition in a culture that had always been horizontal. For centuries, this prophecy was just that, a collection of words passed down through generations. Scholars studied it, believers accepted it as a sign of the end times, but it remained an abstract concept. The idea of destitute shepherds becoming masters of architecture and construction seemed like a distant, almost impossible future. The deserts of Arabia remained largely unchanged. The Bedouins continued their nomadic lifestyle, their tents dotting the landscape as they had for millennia. The prophecy lay dormant, a whisper from the past waiting for the world to catch up to its vision. Now let's fast forward to our time. Today is August 5th, 2025. If you look at the Arabian Peninsula, especially in places like the United Arab Emirates, you see a transformation that is nothing short of breathtaking. Where there were once endless dunes and simple fishing villages, there are now futuristic cities that seem to rise from the sand like a mirage. Cities like Dubai and Abu Dhabi are global hubs of finance, technology, and tourism. They are defined by their ambition, their luxury, and most visually, their incredible skylines that pierce the clouds. It is a world that would be utterly unrecognizable to the people who lived there just a few generations ago. The centerpiece of this modern marvel is often the skyscraper. These aren't just tall buildings, they are symbols of power, wealth, and progress. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest man-made structure on Earth, is a testament to this new reality. It stands as a needle of glass and steel, a landmark visible from miles away, and it is not alone. It is surrounded by a forest of other towers, each one seemingly trying to outdo the others in height, design, and grandeur. This is not just building, it is a competition, a very public race to reach higher and higher into the sky. When people look at these modern cities, many are reminded of that 1400-year-old prophecy. They see the descendants of those same Bedouin tribes who were once known for their simple, nomadic lives, now leading this charge in urban development. The connection seems direct and powerful. The barefoot, naked, destitute shepherds are now the figures overseeing the construction of these lofty buildings. The prophecy's words seem to map onto the modern reality with an astonishing accuracy that many find impossible to ignore. It feels less like a vague prediction and more like a headline from the future written long ago. The shift is staggering. The primary mode of transport was once the camel, the ship of the desert. Today, it is a fleet of luxury cars driving on multi-lane highways that weave between towering skyscrapers. The homes were once woven tents that could be moved with the seasons. Today, they are penthouses and climate-controlled towers with panoramic views of the city and the sea. The wealth was once in livestock. Today it is in oil, finance, and real estate. The ancient prophecy seems to describe this very transition from a simple past to a complex and towering present. So, what are we to make of this? How should we interpret this ancient saying in light of the modern world? For many devout Muslims, the interpretation is quite literal. They see the gleaming towers of the Gulf as a direct and undeniable fulfillment of the prophet's words. For them, it is a powerful sign that the end times are indeed approaching, a validation of their faith, and a reminder to prepare for what is to come. It serves as a confirmation that the knowledge given to the prophet was divine in origin, as no human could have possibly foreseen such a radical transformation 14 centuries ago. However, there are other ways to look at it. Some might see the prophecy in a more symbolic or metaphorical light. Perhaps competing and constructing lofty buildings isn't just about physical height. It could be a commentary on a shift in values, a move away from humility and spiritual wealth towards materialism and worldly ambition. In this view, the prophecy is a warning about losing touch with one's roots and spiritual foundation in the pursuit of status and grandeur. It speaks to a change in the heart of a culture, where pride in simplicity is replaced by a race for excess. This story fascinates people both inside and outside the Islamic faith. For non-Muslims, it's a remarkable historical curiosity. How could a saying from the 7th century so accurately describe a specific socio-economic phenomenon in the 21st century? It raises questions about history, coincidence, and the patterns of human civilization. It becomes a compelling piece of evidence for those who study predictive texts across different cultures. It's a puzzle that invites speculation and debate, regardless of one's personal beliefs. It's a bridge between the ancient past and the hyper-modern present. Ultimately, whether you see it as a literal fulfillment, a symbolic warning, or a historical coincidence, the story of the prophecy and the skyscrapers offers a profound reflection. It forces us to look at the incredible pace of change in our world. It reminds us of the journey from a past defined by survival and simplicity to a present defined by ambition and complexity. It asks us to consider what we gain and what we might lose in such a transformation. The journey from the tent to the skyscraper is not just a story about buildings. It is a story about humanity itself, about our dreams, our priorities, and our eternal search for meaning in a changing